to play now. Put me in the game now. I came here to prove it, I'm ready to do it, I can't be afraid now. Put me on the stage now, I'm ready to rage now. I feel like an animal stuck in a cage and I'm ready to break out. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. This time, like the last time, you better get ready to race to the top. I'm ready to do this, show you what the truth is. I step on the field, it's time to get real, I'm feeling so ruthless. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Yeah. So what are you afraid of? Those feelings are made of. Get in the game, your moment of fame, show them what you made of. It's time that we stand up, it's time that we man up. For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up. My time, nothing can keep me from reaching the top. This time, like the last time, I'm moving so fast, I'm ready to ride. I'm ready to throw down, it's time for the showdown. I'm ready to rise, don't be surprised, I'll take on the world now. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. My town, my crown, we know what it takes to be reaching the top. We reaching the top, we reaching the top. We know what it takes to be reaching the top. Lower the lights down, hand over my crown, hand over my heart. I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop. Turning the track up, I'm never going back down. Hand over my heart, I do this for my town, I do this for my crowd. So turn me up real loud. My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Hello and welcome to the AOSC Super Series live on Apex Racing TV and live on the iRacing Esports Network. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me this evening is Daniel Leet and Matthew Norris. Scott Newton on the cameras tonight. And we're here for one of the first times in this championship at Charlotte Motor Speedway using the Roval circuit tonight. Daniel, this is a pretty unique circuit. It's not a traditional Roval. It's got elevation change. It's got unique corners. Some of the corners have close walls. Some of them have acres of runoff areas. It's a bizarre circuit, but it should be very interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, good evening, Sam, and to all the viewers. Great to be back after the layoff that we had last week. As you say, Charlotte Roval, very interesting circuit. I don't think a lot of guys probably have driven too much around here, probably since the Rookie Series. So coming here tonight with the supercars, already a very technical car to get around. And so with some of the recent changes that iRacing or in real life they've made at Charlotte with the addition of the new bus stop chicane as you get onto the front straight, it's going to really challenge these drivers a lot tonight.
Absolutely. And of course, big thanks to all the sponsors to the championship for their continued support for the series. Acuta, who provides rigging and safety equipment. I went on the Acuta website the other day. The amount of rigging, I didn't know there was that much rigging and safety equipment. Frankly, everything you could possibly need in that department, Acuta provides. So certainly go to Acuta for that. Jinx Shifters making premium shifters for brake bias and also ARB adjusters as well. Race Circuit Arts Australia making really high quality CNC race circuit designs which you can hang on your wall. They look absolutely terrific. Sixth Gear Imagery doing sim racing digital imagery. Wolf Graphics doing Aussie made stickers as well, once again to a really high quality. And also West End Mazda, Too Easy Finance and Parramatta Isuzu Ute as well. Sydney Car Deals led by Principal Jamie McKnight. Big thanks to all of those sponsors, and do check out their products because they really do help out the series. So yeah, big thanks to them. So far this season, it has been it's been classic. James Scott, you can see the points for yourself there. 300 points clear. I think he's won every single race of this 4-round championship, and through a different circumstances as well, because we've had the double race at Alton Park, we've had the standard sprint at Okayama and Monza, and he also won the endurance event at Silverstone. He's just looking untouchable right now.
Yeah, g'day Sam, g'day everyone. It's absolutely untouchable. James Scott is basically what we should be calling him. He's running away with this championship, and deservedly so. He's done a fantastic job at the front.
Yeah, and this circuit where overtaking is going to be potentially quite tricky for these drivers. If you can get pole position, again, that would be a big help. The drivers are just progressing to the race. We kind of quickly get to our grids for this event there, and it is Corey Shepherd. This time on pole position. Tom Freer starts alongside him on the front row of the grid. James Scott in third place, and it's his teammate Brady Myers in fourth. Andrew Dyson in fifth. Brian Borg in second. It's Marlon McMullen, second place in the championship. Geordie Sidney has been driving very well recently. Dylan Rudd starts up in ninth place, and Sean Lindsell rounds out the top 10. There's Adam Briggs. Watch out for Briggs, very strong in the first few rounds, but it's a bit of a disappointing qualifying for him. Then it's Thomas Hinz, Adam Hayne, Carl Stokes, Jamie Stovald, Kenneth Latzer, Rob Bowden, Greg Sharp, Craig Jones, and Stephen Varga. The rest of the drivers will go through for you now. Some decent drivers. Michael Whiting down in 30th place for this start. And as always, very high quality field we have got for this AOSC Super Series. A couple of the organisers are just at the back of the order. Going to be a very tricky grid for these drivers. We'll see just in a moment the way that the cars will have to kind of swerve round the chicane. Often we see a rolling start round this track, but we are going to stick to the standing start as we usually see. And so for the drivers starting on the chicane, wheel spin is a real possibility for them, and they've got to be very careful when they get underway for this race. Corey Shepherd taking the pole position. What can James Scott do from the second row of the grid, winning every race so far this season? Is he going to be able to make it 5 out of 5 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway? The gridding process is about to come to an end. Pretty much everyone is on the grid, and the lights are illuminating the circuit. It's Shepherd from the pole, Freya alongside him, and away we go for 1.5 hours of racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is a good start for Shepherd on the inside. However, straight away got a spin around. I think it's Jordan Cini who's gone spinning around on the inside of the track, and he goes down to 12th place. Maybe it wasn't Cini, I'm not quite sure, but others were certainly involved in all of that. Adam Briggs as well, losing a few places. That'll be a big shame for one of the front runners in this championship as they negotiate the first couple of corners. A little bit of changing, but the top 4 still in the same order.
Yeah, it looks like everyone managed to get away reasonably well. Obviously, we did have a couple of cars rotate around, but for everyone starting around the bus stop, not too bad an effort for all of those guys. Out front, Corey Shepherd doing a stellar job walking that car off the line. A little bit trickier being on the bank, but Tom Freya really starting to hunt him down and actually gets the inside, shoots Sim Racing car down as they work their way into the back chicane.
Yeah, it looks pretty simple for Tom Freya, who takes the lead now. Freya, who's had a slightly disappointing championship with Pursuit Sim Racing, haven't quite been able to live up to last season's pace. But he's looking on top form right now. But here comes Shepherd again. He's going to try to retaliate into the final chicane, but not quite there. That was very odd there, Noe. The fact that Shepherd just didn't defend. You think on the first lap, you'd want to keep track position and then maybe make a gap later on, but he was almost waving his rival on by.
He sort of opened the door and let Tom through and basically said, I'll follow you, mate. Probably one of the characteristics of not coming to this track so often, because Charlotte Roval, I mean, it might be quick over one lap, but quick over a race distance at Charlotte Roval might be a bit of a struggle. So it might be best to follow a competitor rather than be the leader.
That's what he's thinking. Corey Shepherd then losing the lead, and for the first time I've got a Pursuit Sim Racing car in the lead. We had that a few times last season. Bear came very close, I believe, to winning at Watkins Glen, although I'm not 100% sure. But he's looking very strong for a race win here. I think Marlon McMullen recently got past Brian Borg. That was at turn 1 earlier on in this lap. And Borg is at threat of dropping further down now. He's got Andrew Dyson right to near his tail for DPR, who have been very strong in this so far this season. Didn't have very good Mons around, but apart from that, they have made big strides forwards in this relatively new supercar, which many of the teams are still trying to get a hold of. And they're having some decent results, though, of course, Briggs with that struggling start earlier on. Scott has now got past Shepherd. James Scott up into second position, and Shepherd might lose another place. He's going down the order very quickly. Here comes Scott's teammate, the Altus esports driver of Grady Myers. And Myers would just about get through almost into the wall as well for Shepherd there. You can see how the top drivers are really separating out. And despite some fantastic qualifying pace, and now Shepherd's going wide again. And it seems as though he's got more serious issues, or is that just a mistake for him? But a bizarre start for the pole sitter. Corey Shepherd drops down to 7th place. Hopefully he's resolving those issues, but it seems like something's going on in the real world.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward jump through. Sorry, you go ahead, mate.
I was going to say, it just looks awkward. He's just not comfortable, or he's had a bad couple of corners, because he shouldn't be slipping that far down this quickly.
Absolutely not. Fast up the race that last time for Marlon McMullen. He's up into 4th place now. McMullen, you nearly won at Silverstone, of course. The checkered flag gate, if you will, as it will become to know when they crossed the line with 8 seconds over the 4-hour time limit, and yet they were still forced to do another lap, just the way that iRacing calculate the white flag lap, and they ran out of fuel on the last lap, denied them what would have been a spectacular race victory. But he's put that behind himself, and McLaren looking very much stronger than he did last season. A successful driver in the old supercar, but struggling to get used to this new generation, but he has improved much, and he's up into 4th place, keeping on tags as well with Grady Marsh just behind him. The big queue at the moment is forming up between Dylan Rudd, pretty much all the way back to about Rob Bowden in 16th place. Here it is, and it's kind of tricky to tell what the overtaking is going to be like around this place. Then you kind of think of it, and this is an oval, so you've got some decently long kind of straights or banked sections. But in my experience, at least, it's quite tricky to overtake around this circuit. I've commentated on supercars races around this track before, and it doesn't come easy. All the straights are just a little bit too short. There's a few decent length straights, but they're all just a little bit too short for you to be able to get the run on the driver ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, probably the biggest opportunities the drivers are going to have are going to be heading down in through the bus stop areas, as we see them breaking down now. Biggest difficulty that they're all going to suffer from is trying to get the traction out of the rear of the car. If you can find a way to hook that rear up, get it up onto the oval, it's definitely going to give you a really solid opportunity, because we watch the guys here funnel through the infield section. It's a bit of a rhythm section. It's very hard to place a car a little wide, because you can run a little offline there, maintain a little additional momentum, as we see Stovall now trying to get down the inside of Kyle Stokes there, and actually a little bit of bump and rubber should be able to clear that through. But it's a little bit trickier to get through, and we're saying it's trickier, but here we go. Stovall just got that move done quite nicely on Kyle Stokes there.
And the track sort of encourages you to take more road than is actually available, so the wall comes quite close just in that section there. As we exit onto the oval here, it really comes at you, so the track encourages you to take more road than there actually is.
Yeah, I think that's certainly true. You can so easily just drift wide and see many of these cars. Remember, anyone new to iRacing, this circuit is free for you to try it. You can also try the old chicane we had that you just went through, where you pretty much straight lined it. A remarkable chicane, many times broken by that chicane, but they use the common sense approach. But you can still run it on iRacing, and certainly recommend it, because you can have some good friends trying to some good fun trying to jump the wall with a few of your mates. A couple of contacts just further back for Bowden, I think it was, further up. Stokes back ahead of Stovall then. So Stovall, of course, gave the tap before. And if that was maybe a risk control message, or maybe just Stokes faster, you would expect to Jamie Stovall that Stokes would be faster. Stokes is now up into 11th place, but still further down than the CNG Sim Racing driver would like. I believe he finished on the podium last time out at Monza.
Well, yeah, when we spoke to them at Monza, they said they'd started to unlock the mysteries they were suffering with in that car, and unfortunately not quite coming into fruition at this early phase of the race. Still a lot of driving still left to do for them, so they should be able to work their way through. But yeah, struggling probably a little bit for both Kyle and Geordie Sini, a little further down where they want to be. But they'll come back through, and Synergy Sim Racing very good as the strategy seems to unfold. So look for them, once the pit stops come through, to start working their way back forward.
So that the redress was that you just seen that message on screen, and that was the change of position. So Stovall maybe is past the Stokes, but he had to give the place up, because he needs to make the move cleanly. He's looking pretty good at the moment, and they are getting held up. Cini as well, who was very strong for Fishy Motorsports. Motorsports, another team doing very well in Aussie Mixed and Fixed as well, which you can check out on a Sunday evening as well for you Aussies as well. Fisherman Sports going places, definitely improving a lot in recent months. Jaden Borg, he is just ahead of Cameron Jones at the moment, and Borg holding off Jones despite the slight lunge into turn one. The laps go by pretty quick around this circuit. It's a 1 minute 17 lap, so it should be about an hour long. I may have said earlier on it's an hour and a half. These 150s usually lasting about the hour, maybe one of the slower races that we have, slightly slower average speeds. There's always a fixed distance in this championship, 150 kilometers. A redress for car number 77 and 640, and that is an instant further down the order. That is Scott Malone and David Coleman in 43rd and 44th place, as we see a bit of side by side into the bus stop, and that is Borg ahead of Jones still.
Yeah, look, we also saw just openings of a pass coming for those guys there as well, as they work their way through. Further up front, Tom Freer, who has led from the start of the race, now finds himself under a little bit of attack. James Scott has managed to close down that gap. Brodie Mayer's not that far behind, 1.7 behind the Pursuit Sim Racing car, and Tom's now going to have a lot of work ahead of him to try and keep the Altus cars behind.
is this a situation, where you can use your two prongs attack, like a weird hawk, so you try to move your way up? Because what they could potentially do is Myers maybe goes for the mega undercut, just tries a different strategy. Myers isn't really in the championship hunt, and they dare I say they can go into Ferrari tactics and try to sacrifice one of their cars for the benefit of the other. Do you think that would be a temptation right now for Altus Esports?
Oh, the Altus Esports benefit of having two fast drivers in James Scott and Brady Myers is that they could do that. However, I know Brady, and I know that he's a racer, so he'll want to win the race. He won't want to be the bridesmaid. He won't want to come second. He won't want to support his teammate. Besides, otherwise, he wants to win.
Greg Sharp with a drive-through penalty. Already outside the top 30 is Sharp. So not a good day for him. Quite a short pit lane, I believe. I think he can go down the pit lane at quite a high speed. As Scott Newton doing a great job on the cameras, finding this replay for how Sharp picked it up. He's got the 74 just ahead, and it's just a bit clumsy from Sharp. I think he may have tried to adjust the position, to be honest, but I think he realised he was going to lose too much time, so just carry on, probably the right thing to do. And that's a big shame for him there. And he's going to have to transfer down the pit lane. Also, very unique pit exits we have around this circuit. Not quite as suicidal as the old circuit. At turn 1, where you can go into the big kind of structure which held up the positions boards. Was absolutely suicidal, that. And you also have the pit exit as well, where you go straight onto the racing line if you weren't careful. Bit more safe now, but it can still be tricky. We can have some very entertaining battles where drivers are coming out of the pit lane side by side with one another. So watch out for that one later on. And start seeing the pit lanes occur. And Briggs not doing a whole lot at the moment in 14th place. I wonder if we could maybe... Oh, that's into the wall for Rob Bowden. Into the wall for Bowden. We've already seen a Tank SRT car have issues earlier on with Greg Sharp, but that was all Bowden's fault. And he's lost the rear end and now having to wait a long time. I'm not even sure he's got the steering lock to get back going. Oh, he's hit the wall again. Now right on the racing line. The other drivers are doing a good job right now of avoiding him.
Of the replay, just watching him come down into one there, gets a little bit of the inside curb, back starts to wander. It's a bit of a hard hit into the wall, lucky to not get collected. See a few of the guys coming through and then trying to rotate that car around was a little bit awkward for him there. He had to 4-point turn it as it allowed the whole field to cycle their way through. Bowden has managed to get back underway, however, a long way down the field as a result of that.
Everyone's coming into the pits. Have we got a safety car or something?
I
Because
think we have got a safety car.
I don't know why they wouldn't wait. Why else they would come to the pit. So this is early. This is really early. Linsell stayed out. So too is Cine. They'll take the lead of this event. But how much fuel do they put in? Have they got enough fuel? Or can Fia stay ahead of Scott? Fia's still ahead of Scott. If anything, this could... Oh no, he's overshot it. Fia's overshot it, and that's going to be the lead gone. It might even be a Logitech G Altus Esports 1-2 after this, because Fia overshooting his pit stop, and that is going to send him down the order. And Scott is ahead, and Myers is ahead. Is Fia at least in third place? Oh, big mistake there from Tom Fia. This was a big opportunity for him with the safety car. It took away the strategy element for Logitech G Altus Esports to use their cars to their advantage. But he's made a fundamental mistake there, Fia, and he's allowed the two Altus cars straight past him.
And that would be a pressure mistake, that one. That would be wanting to get in, get serviced, and get out before the Logitech Altus Esports cars. And it just would have been a momentary lapse in concentration for Tom. Unfortunate nonetheless.
So this is as early as we ever see a pit stop. I mean, the fuel can barely get to the end of the race on here. They will get to the end of the race, but I don't think there's a whole lot to spare. So we've got Linsell, Cine, Varga, Sloggett, and Hansen and Veyer as well, all staying out. Daniel, do you think this is a viable strategy? I always like the alternate strategy, and often in this situation, you you're at the mercy of your rivals. If only the front runners come in. Oh, actually, we're going to have a wave round for one of the Tanks SRT cars. But if only the front runners come into the pits, you can actually be in a very good position if you stay out. Unfortunately, only 6 cars have stayed out, so Lindsay hasn't got up much of a gap to the drivers he was fighting.
No, and the other issue that the top 6 are going to have too is everyone behind now who did come through the lane is going to have the fresh tyres. Admittedly, they will be a little bit cold, but they'll heat up quite quick and they'll get underway. But for everyone coming in, it's a bit of a cat and dog game, as we saw Freya and then all the Altus cars come through. I think they were all kind of inclined to want to check each other off and make sure they get those stops done. We know, over the course of the endurance races, we've seen a few guys that may have tried to roll the dice that we're seeing at the moment with Linsell and Sini. And if you get another safety car, likely to very much fall in your favour. But if the race goes through to the green, being able to get your stop done under yellow, as we've seen the majority of this field do, is going to be a bit of a masterstroke for them there.
We always see it in Aussie mixed and fixed when there's a safety car or a virtual safety car come into the pit. Michael Whiting's now opted in as well. I'm just wondering if you can maybe it's an advantage to pit now under the safety car rather than the first, because they're going that much slow. I don't think that would add up. I think Whiting's going to lose plenty of places now, because he'll have to be stationed for about 15 seconds just to get the fuel in and get some new tyres on that car as well. So not great for him at the moment. So the leader effectively is James Scott, with Brady Myers in second place, Tom Fear in third. Do we know what the safety car was for? Was it just that car positioning themselves back coming out of turn 1, or what, do we think there was a separate incident? Because I'm seeing pretty much everyone's still running in this event.
Pretty sure it was a reaction to the tanked car turning around, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Rob Bowden. So probably smart from the organisers, because Bowden was in a tricky spot. Didn't do a whole lot wrong there, did Rob, but just tricky in that situation. The acute safety car, I think, might be coming in on this app. Unfortunately, we don't have the light system. This is a manual safety car. Nick Holster getting in the car and going better than he did at Silverstone, when he famously forgot what the brake pedal was and went straight on at turn 3. But you don't want to do that around this track, because you'll be hard into some of these safer barriers. So it'll be, Cini leading, Linsell leading the field away. At the moment, he's leaving a gap, which maybe indicates that we are just going to have one more lap under safety car, going very slowly as well. All the wave rounds are complete, and in fact, we are going to go back green because the safety car is pulling away. So the field is under the control of Sean Linsell. You didn't come into the pits, the top 6, all with old tyres, but with new, with less fuel, of course. And they're leaving a big gap at the moment. They can start to overtake pretty much on the entry to the final chicane. So Linsell's got to be careful. He's got to get going eventually. Still just hesitating. Sini right on the tail, and now he starts to put his foot down. That's a nice launch away for Sean Linsell, who gets us back underway on this lap 13. It's round 5 of the AOSC Super Series. And already some of the front runners from early on trying to make their way past their rivals. It's Linsell, Sini, Varga, Sloggett, Hanson, Bayer, and Scott staying behind at the main. He's got to get past them quick, because Meyers and Freya are right on his tail.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's been able to get away nicely. No further cars rotated around. In midfield, still getting some solid little battles starting to form up as we keep an eye on the Altus cars working their way through. Simon Villa doing a very solid job just positioning that pro-choice car where he needs to. He's going to make it a little bit difficult for James Scott and the guys behind, but we'll see Scott, as he forms up here on the oval, should be able to get that car down the inside into the bus stop as he sets up for the move.
Easy move done from James Scott there into the bus stop.
Not a whole lot for Scott to gain here. It's just a case of not losing too much. Already, Linsell would have to wait up about a 20-second lead in order for this strategy to work, as there goes down the inside for Brady Myers. No hesitation there whatsoever, and Freya will be next. It's going to be a long day for Simon Bayer until he makes his pit stop. He wants guys to retaliate. They're just behind or getting past Jones. Jones, another driver who didn't come into the pits a while ago, but pretty much everyone around him has all pitted. Next up will be McMullen, who was running as high as 4th place earlier on, and he got done by Borg during the pit stop sequence, but still in an effective 5th place. McAvoy as well. He's battling with Schuler. This for 26th and 27th. Both these guys have pitted.
Yeah, to watch these guys cycle through down in 27th position. It's a little bit further than where they originally started from, but they're working their way through reasonably nicely. Paul Warwick just ahead in that Fishy Motorsports car as well. Driver we haven't seen or too much of over the course of the championship. We might have seen him through the Enduros, but having a very solid run nonetheless at the moment.
Remember that Lindsell was in and the lower reaches of the top 10, started in 10th place for this race. They're saying some good times at the moment. They want to build, like I said, 20 seconds, probably to those drives in around 9th and 10th place. At the moment, they've already got a 10-second lead over Marlon McMullen. It's pretty good for him. Bayer has dropped down. Is Bayer in the pits? No, Bayer's had an issue, and Freya as well. So Freya, I was saying how you can't gain a whole lot, but you can certainly lose a lot, and Freya has lost out. And he is tumbling down the order. Tom Freya, he was leading this race, had control of the order, and it's all gone terribly wrong for him in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that looked like it was on the way up into the final bus stop just before the guys get up onto the chicane. There is a slow car stationary from what I'm seeing in the in the 4th corner on the oval there as well. So just have to be cautious of that car. But looks like everyone else has managed to get through.
Tom Freya's replay. So actually, it's going to be a hit from behind, I think. Oh, well, there goes
wow.
the 393, and Freya into the wall. Also, I think was that Borg? Must have been Brian Borg who got a little bit of it. I think Borg is all right, but that's just a mistake there from one of the drivers. But, that is a huge shame for Tom Freya. He had good pace today, best he's performed all season long. Simon Bayer, the driver who made contact with him. Bayer will be kicking himself as well, because that strategy we think can work. Are we going to get another safety car here? It looks as though we have, because they're not going at full racing speed. Tom Freya to a halt now. Cini and Lindsell will pit. Where will this put them out though? They've got to keep up a good pace here.
Off the hook.
It could do. Cini's actually got ahead of Lindsell as well. I don't know if there's like a delta that they got to stay to, but guys, you've got to go flat out. I realise that you need to be safe and everything, but if there's no rules against it, go flat out right now, because they need to build a gap for when they come into the pits. So of course, 2 safety cars last time out at Monza as well. And already our second safety car. Will come into the pits. It's the only thing they can do. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, this, for them, but they would have liked a few more laps under green conditions, because they're making a good gap to the other drivers. In fact, I think they are going to lose out, if anything. They would have preferred it to go a bit longer, and also they're not going to have a big advantage when it comes to the tyres now. So Cini and Lindsell could be dropping outside your top 20 with this late pit stop.
Yeah, and those cars still stationary on the pit lane. I think I also saw Mullen jumping in as well for another set of tyres. So trying a very alternate strategy tonight for him there to see whether he can get a few additional spots once they do get back underway. But Nick Hausler just slowing up, catching the field behind him. And this will see everyone come back up to start another time again.
So Cini comes out in 14th. That's not too bad. Remember, Cini got knocked down earlier on. He started in 8th. He dropped straight away down to 13th, I think. I think maybe he was running 12th before the safety car. So he's only dropped 2 places, and he's got pressure tyres. So it's not too bad for them. But it kind of shows that if they did have a few more laps under green flag conditions, it would have been even better for those drivers, that alternate strategy. was feasible. And there's still a few drivers as well who still got to pit, so that's actually an effective 11th place for Varga, which for Siniso, which ain't too bad. Lindsay a few places further down in 18th right now.
It looks worse on the timing scoreboard for Sean Lindsay, who ended up in 18th. So those two have got a fair way to fight back to get to the front of this queue. Quite amazed that Stephen Vargas still stayed out there. So that's an interesting one to follow if you like the alternate strategy, Sam.
Do they have to come into the pits? Is it like a rule that they have to come into the pits, or if they save enough fuel, can they just stay up for the whole race?
I do believe we need to pit.
They're limited to 75% fuel. These cars, and you guys can correct me here, I think they usually go 50 minutes, don't they? So the 35, 40, and this is going to go on for about an hour. So you'd have to save boatloads of fuel. Marty Hansen now into the pits. He's realised that. The Varga just needs to cut his losses here and come to the pits, because after the safety car, all that's going to happen is he's just going to drop down the order. I mean, he's going to lose so much time being overtaken left, right, and centre on those old tyres. I'm very sceptical of Varga doing this.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tricky, challenging for him. As I say, 75% starting fuel in those cars, definitely going to need to come down the lane to get a stop done. No mandatory stops, however, so if he's able to save enough under the safety car here, potentially going to extend that window a little bit further. However, with the two Altus cars right behind, obviously pitting last safety car, they're definitely going to be in the box seat as far as fresh tyres go.
2 hour going green this lap.
Yeah, I think so. Could we run on board with Varga for a second? See if he's clutching right now. He's keeping his foot in. So I thought maybe he's just trying to save mega fuel. I thought I heard someone on the clutch going into turn 3, but maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe that was just them lifting off. So Varga will have to pit again. If he wins this race, then proves us wrong. Or if Varga, remember, started in 20th place. So if he can get a top 20 out of this, it'll be a miracle, because James Scott is going to be very soon past him. Up into effective 3rd place now is Brian Borg. Corey Shepherd in effective 4th place as well. So those guys benefiting with the issues for McMullen and Freya just before the pit stop. And so we are about to get underway. We're not even halfway through this race already. With our second safety car period, will be Stephen Varga from 1st position. Once again, start overtaking, or you can start going green just before the chicane. And pretty much the exact same as we saw from Lindsay earlier on. Varga goes there, doesn't quite make a big gap on Scott. He might try to go for a lunge straight away. Varga taking a tight line into 1. That might leave him vulnerable afterwards. Cini trying to gain some places with those fresh tyres. Scott is past Varga already, and that is a big move from Scott. Varga's going to lose another place here to Brady Myers as well, straight down the inside for Myers. And Borg should be passed soon as well. That Borg makes this move very quickly with 3.93 with a penalty. That was the Freya incident we saw earlier on. Straight down the inside for Brian Borg. He might be pushed into the wall slightly here, but Varga just leaving space, and this is the problem for Varga. He's going to be overtaken by so many cars, losing lots of time. But he might be quick very late in the race when he gets the fresh tyres on that machine. Here he comes again in the toe. Will he try to have a go at Borg, or at least he's staying clear of Dyson at the moment, remains in 4th place.
Yeah, Borg awake to that move, just positioning the car down towards the middle of the circuit there, making it very, very tricky for Varga to get that move done. Varga just needs to just try and maintain the gap where possible. 18-lap tyres going to have to be a little bit tricky for him, especially trying to get the drive out of some of these slower corners we see him down into the bus stop. But the pace at the moment for him, very, very consistent.
Some changes with Adam Griggs and Carl Stokes, I think, just changing places further down. Oh, it's going to be a long queue now behind Varga. He's certainly the cork in the bottle. but Dyson has got past. That's good drive from Dyson there. Varga, and now next up will be Corey Shepherd. By the way, fastest sectors at the moment for Scott is pulling away from Myers. Oh, as round goes Shepherd. And we've also got another car, that's the DPR car of Dyson, of Briggs, sorry. And also skating across the grass at the moment is Shepherd. That's a little bit of an unsafe rejoin. They all just got concertinaed up, a couple of contacts, and that could have been even worse, to be honest. That was very nearly a car stuck in the middle of the circuit. I think we've had another spin round. I heard tyres squealing. Sean Chapel, maybe, no, I think it was all right. Michael Ward also just dropping down, but this is very close now. Shepherd down to 13th place now. Sini's up into 9th place from all of this. Went to crash tyres, remember. This could be good for Jordy Sini right now. Linsell planning to make much bigger, still down in 17th place. And we've had more contacts, I think, with another DPR car of Adam Briggs. And he's got everyone right behind him. David Kimmons is trying to get past him on the entry to the final corner. And he stays, it keeps him behind. Back comes Kimmon though with a good cutback. Leading on to lap 21 of the event, half stage of the race. And Briggs holds on again. Now he'll try to pull away, but he has got some damage on that front right.
Corey Shepherd trying to get himself back into a rhythm now as well. He's got Craig Jones just on the outside. So he's trying to get back going again. Kyle Stokes coming through as well. Just noticed too, Michael Whiting, when we cut to the shot of the guys coming into the back chicane there, had that car all crossed up on the entry, and they're lucky to not find a wall as well. But Whiting now trying to slide the Fisher Motorsports car down past the car there of...
Jumping down there was Sloggett, and that was it's taken back to the pits as Sloggett. You know what that one's about? He's playing his engine, has he? No? He seemed in a rush to get that car stopped. I don't know if maybe there's something happening in the real world that he's having to address.
That's a bizarre one, that one. I was just going to note that while we're watching all that carnage going on in the midfield, James Scott put in his best lap of a 16:33, and he's gone and beaten it with a 16:29. So James Scott flying at the front.
Drive the penalty for car number 99 for causing an incident. That's Dylan Rudd, who is running in 19th place. 23rd place, apologies. And we'll have to serve that drive the penalty. I think this one is in the game, because he may have just found why this was, and it's the same corners we've seen a couple of instances. And also card number 66 as well, and that is Adam Hain. Getting better at looking for these numbers now. Adam Hain with a drive-through penalty as well, so the stewards earning their bucks so far. Too many penalties for their liking, wasn't it, to organise the safety car as well. Just serving that drive-through right now, whilst the rest of the order go past. It's an awful feeling. At least around this place, not the longest pit lane we'll visit all season long. I think Monza is approximately twice the time. Borg versus Dyson. Ryan Borg. Can't remember the last time that Borg got a podium in a solo event. He may have done, but he has improved so much. Him and Premier Racing Team improved so much for this season. And this is almost best of the rest. Scott and Myers in a league of their own. But Dyson pushing him hard. Varga as well, doing a great job. He's staying in 5th place. I thought he'd be way down the order with those old tyres. But Varga doing a good job. He's got a few drivers quite close behind, but with all that contact behind, it's just thinned out the pack behind, as Dyson might be on for a move here against Ryan Borg. Borg is all right though.
Yeah, if you remember, you touched on earlier, Sam, going back to Silverstone, Borg was partnered with McMullen in that race as well. So nearly got the podium already throughout the course of the season, but Premier Racing, as you say, yeah, definitely coming on exceptionally strong. Same with DPR Racing. They had some new sponsorship come on earlier in the start of the year and putting on a stellar show at the moment. Andrew Dyson looking very, very racy as he hunts down Brian Borg in 4th position.
Really weird circuit this way. Pretty much wherever you look on the track, in the background, you see another bit of the circuit. There you go. So, you know, I mean, in terms of size, this is one of the most compact circuits I think you can probably go. If you had a good seat on the outside, or maybe on the pit straight, you could probably have a decent view of the entire circuit, pretty much see what's going on. So in the spectators circuit, this one's like a rallycross circuit on some of the global rallycross tracks that we have on iRacing. But yeah, very compact. Just blows my mind this circuit how strange it is. I believe the reason why there is elevation change is because the rock underneath the circuit is so hard that it's like too much effort to actually landscape this place, so they kind of just have to build the circuit around the landscape, which is strange why you'd build an oval there, but I think they purchased the land, were planning on building the oval, then found it, just had to make do, but they've made a good circuit out of it.
I think you summarised it in 2 words there, Sam. Weird and weird.
Yeah.
It's just a weird circuit.
Oh, change of position potentially for Dyson. He's gone for it this time. Not a place where we tend to see moves. There's kind of lots of half overtaking opportunities around this circuit, but none totally obvious. Maybe this one into the bus stop is your best chance, but if you defend on the inside, there's not a whole lot your opponent can do. Move on to the back straight, just on the oval. And it looks to the inside, side by side as well, just behind Hinz and Varga. Hinz finally passed Varga, and that should set him free to chase after the guys ahead.
Good strong move there for Hinz. He'll be looking to try and bring Jamie Stovall through as well. You can see Stovall's already on the back of Varga, back up the next battle ahead. Borg still maintaining that spot. Varga, though, down the inside, very defensive. Just keeps Stovall behind. Hasn't dropped a huge amount of time either to Dyson, so work their way in that bus stop area. But they're also now bringing Jordan Sini for Sinja Sim Racing into this fight as well. So Varga's going to have to be very, very cautious here. Laps still counting down. 26 already rattled through off the 41. Still yet to come down the lane. So the tyres are really getting starting to cry blue murder now in that car. You see him start to struggle a little bit to get the traction out. So for what we would have thought may have been a sitting duck already, doing a fantastic job to hold it. But I think he's going to start finding those tyres are really coming to the end of their life.
That's a fantastic clawback from Jordy Sini after that pit stop cycle sort of hampered his race to come back to 8th. It's fantastic.
And with 6-lap pressure tyres as well compared to his rivals. So Natsini's looking, albeit a couple of them, on the safety car. 987 with
Jamie
Stovall. There you go. Thank you for that one. So hang on, am I being really stupid here? And why has he got that one? Did we see that one?
Causing a collision. So I think that was the one after the safety car where he might have got into the back of that one.
Yeah, Shepard, I think it was. Once again, Scott Newton doing an awesome job. You can see how light it was 10 minutes ago. It's darker out on circuit. So, to be honest there, it looked as though Hinz didn't make a whole lot of contact, and it was kind of what was happening on ahead, but maybe Stovall's kind of kicked it all off into Sini and then into Shepard. So just a constant just a chain reaction there, and getting the blame for that one. On that occasion. Good news for some of the drivers just behind, sitting up into 7th place now, which is effective 6th place. Unsafe track re-entry for car number 85. Oh, Myers. Oh no, sorry. I thought that on my timing screen, Myers moved ahead of Scott for a moment there. No worries. McMullen getting the penalty, and what a good day it could have been for McMullen. Oh no! What's he doing?
Marlon.
Well, the problem is he'll get a. Has he been disqualified? I think he's been disqualified. His logic there was I'll skip the chicane, get a slowdown, and then I'll serve the slowdown when I serve my driving penalty and gain some time. That's not really in the sporting etiquette.
I've got to say, listening to the race chat from drivers in my ear, they're not too happy about this, and it's just unfortunate there for Marlon to take matters into his own hands. So let's get on with the racing. Let's let the stewards deal with that.
Yeah, no, nice and quick on that one, where Stuart almost expected it to happen. We see the same thing at Daytona as well, where in the 24-hour, I mean, I can share this clip, but you will get protested if you do it. But in the 24 hours, for example, any Daytona race you do, if you just straight line the bus stop, then you'll get a slowdown. But then when you come into the pits, then your serve down will be served, and you gain for about 5 seconds by doing that. And that's what he was trying to do there. It's yeah, certainly not in the spirits of things whatsoever. Even if you do that in a league session, you can get protested to the iRacing gods, and your judgment will be decided. Oh, we got a car in the wall at the bus stop. It's Michael Ward, I believe. Is it Michael Ward? It is Michael Ward, and he has got back going. So no safety car, but that's a lot of damage on that car now.
Yeah, not a straight panel left on that one as a result of that contact. Going to be a little bit tricky for him to go around. We'll see whether he dives for the lane to try and get that car repaired as well, but that's a tough hit for him.
This is the type of incident we used to see with the old chicane. Into that, well, apart from, I mean, at twice the speed, to be fair. I do wish we were using the old chicane. I mean, it is silly, such a silly corner, but it is hilarious to see drivers try to race through it. But we've got this slightly tighter one now, and yeah, just way too much speed. Should have done the McMullen there. Skip the chicane. Dyson, has he moved ahead of Ford? He has moved ahead of Ford. Andrew Dyson for DPR Racing on the podium. DPR have got podium so far this season, of course, and it looks as though they're going to be able to do it again.
Yeah, that's down in through turn 5 and 6. Just floats it in nicely through 5. A little bit of bump and run as they get through 6. Borg had a good job at protecting it through 7, but just not able to hold it off.
Oh, the dummy of dreams. Lovely stuff on the inside, and well, he took the normal racing line as well. Borg could have easily kept his nose in there and made contact, but he did the smart thing, backed out of it. And Andrew Dyson with that brilliantly. That's kind of showing the best of a tricky to overtake circuit. You've got to be creative. You had to do something different in order to get ahead, and that dummy and then the deep lunge was absolutely perfect. Martin now dropping behind Hayne and Jones, and with Jones with that late pit stop on lap 21. Let's see, Martin as well pitted under the second safety car. Jones was even later, pitting after the second safety car, and just a couple of cars gets him past Stephen on right there. He's now got to Sean Chappell and Greg Sharp. Great to see Sharp back up there. Of course, got a driving penalty very early on in the race. Sharp much more competitive than that 30th place, so he'll just be trying to recover some places in the remaining 11 laps.
Yeah, it's going to be a good little 4-car battle for these guys here. You see Sharp just closing up on the back of Chappell, not able to get a move done in through that back chicane, but still further on to work their way up on the NASCAR 3 to have another shot down into the bigger of the two braking zones. Further up, we switch out to Tony Gaffer. Had a very quiet run so far, Ferguson Sports Car. Good to see. Up in 10th position. Right behind him, Corey Shepherd, who we saw getting rotated around early on. Surprised we didn't see anything from race control around the re-entry for him at the moment. So hopefully that's already been looked at and addressed and deemed all good to go. But that card now with a huge amount of damage from what was running very nicely up in the 4th position early on in the start of the race.
All across the grass for Stokes. Not the grass, there's no grass here. Well, there's some places, but not there.
To the left there is.
Stokes is going to be overtaken by Bowden. There goes Rob Bowden. Bowden had that spin, didn't he? I think at turn 1 earlier on. I don't know how he's managed to get back up to 11th place because he was there for days. I think caused a safety car out of it, but he's got to 11th place. Carl Stokes all out at sea today. At Stovall as well, just going past Linsell. What's going on with Carl Stokes? Is it just a case that he doesn't like this circuit because he's behind, and quite significantly behind, many drivers who he'd normally be faster than?
It's not hard to imagine why he would be behind. It is a weird circuit, but Carl Stokes is a pretty accomplished driver. He should know his way around. He's probably just struggling with car balance tonight, making it work between these undulating corners and trying to find a way through with a good slipstream.
.95 on that last lap, so it's because of the issue at the chicane. He does seem to be faster now, but he's lost track of position. We've seen how important that is today. They've got Ken Lapter and David Kimmond just ahead, or Varga into the pits, finally. So Varga should come out. He should still be in about 21st. I think he'll be behind David Coleman at the worst. I think you lose about 30 seconds going into the pits, maybe 15 seconds just going down the pit lane, and then 15 seconds stationary as well. Though you may not take tyres. No, you've got to take tyres, it'll be so much faster. We've also got a car in the wall. What is that one about? Have we got a car in the wall? Oh, D. On the back markers, I think. Scott McCunn?
Yeah, I think it was Scott McCunn there. Managed to get that car rolling again, so we should be able to get away without the need of a safety car. However, he is almost going to go down potentially 2 laps here at the moment. We've got our leaders starting to close up. That's a very weird one for him there.
I think they're just wait for the other drivers to go past, trying to not cause safety car. Didn't want to tow back to the pits. And we'll get back to the pits eventually. So Varga came out in 21st. Oh, there you go. I'm good at this, aren't I? I said that he would be ahead of David Coleman, but he's just behind Coleman. But still, that was a good shout. Pat on the back, right there. And now he's got fresh tyres, of course, so he's going to have a great chance of getting past. He's going to be aggressive. Also got Corey Shepherd right behind him. Shepherd with lots of different issues came into the pits twice. Did Shepherd with getting damaged, I think, after the second safety car. So these two will be storming up in the closing stages.
Yeah, we should see him slowly work his way back up as well. But yeah, for Varga now, this is going to be the time where he really needs to shine. Those fresh tyres, so now come up to pressure, he should be good to go. Paul Warwick having a very quiet run here at the moment, up in 12th position, gained 16 spots from where he started. He's got Sean Linsell right behind EXG Motorsports. They work their way down through 5 and 6. You just see EXG cars a little bit better in the initial turn in there, just struggling maybe a fraction on traction, but going to be looking to have a run here as they work their way down to turn 11 to the back straight.
Yep, it's got it in the toe, and you've got up alongside into the bus stop chicane. Linsell advantaged over Warwick.
Could have been more for Sean Linsell today. The timing of the second safety car let him down. He really needed it to stay green for another 10 laps or so for him to build a bigger gap. Otherwise, I think he may have been able to come out of the pits in the top 10. Instead, he came out in 17th. To be fair, since the race has been in his hands, it just hasn't done enough compared to Geordie Sinny. Admittedly, I think Sinny is just faster, but he could have still so he'll still be a little bit disappointed they couldn't stay a little bit closer. However, he has got 2 cars in just ahead. He's got Kimmon and Bowden just ahead. How far ahead is Latza as well? 7.5 seconds ahead, and good pace take there for Latza. Kimmon's slow on that last lap, lost over a second to the drivers around him. It'll be a good 4-car battle in the closing stages. A little bit of a mixed-up order. I mean, see Hin's up there in 5th place, Cine up there in 6th. Would be personal best for Cine there. Some other drivers doing very well. Some big points available for the drivers tonight, so they don't want to win it all on an over risky move. Bowden right on the tail of Kimmon, he might have a chance moving on to lap 36.
The drive traction from Bowden's car looked phenomenal coming out of the bus stop chicane. It'd be interesting to see if he's got the same drive traction here again. Just sort of closes right up on the pursuit car like it's standing still. So phenomenal traction out of that tanked car. As he just tries to force the issue. This is the awkward part of the Charlotte Roval circuit. You've got to hold your time and wait, full throttle there, and slowly get into it. It's weird, but it's a challenging circuit, and that's why I think so many drivers do enjoy it.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more crashes here so far. Sorry, Dan.
I was going to say, it's interesting watching the onboard for both of these two, just to see the different lines in play for both drivers. Kidman trying to maybe just protect that inside line just a little bit more. Bowden trying to flow the car through, and this is going to be the prime opportunity for him to get down the inside. He just closes up and shoots the tank car straight past. A really good job there from Bowden, against Kidman. And I must say, watching the guys exit out here, just how close they're getting to the wall. For anyone who's watched the supercars at Gold Coast, always reminds me of the way they exit out of that first chicane there. So probably the closest thing we're going to get in iRacing for quite a while, but a good opportunity to knock a few window mirrors off.
Long Beach, Scott Needs is just whispering in our ears. That should be
I was going to
released.
say Belle Isle.
Yep. Yeah, Belle Isle. Yep. Although all the corners of Belle Isle are just so slow, you don't really see kind of the high speed close to the wall action. Long Beach, it's like quick. Of course, they are doing the graphical stuff for Long Beach apparently. So certainly not this build. Maybe the next build. Most likely the build after. It might even be mid-season as well. So I recommend buying the tech track, everyone, because then you get the you don't have to pay so much when the full track comes out. I think if you have the tech track, then you get the proper circuit for free. So spend the $3 on that, and probably save yourself about $12 on that front. So yeah, go do that, and you get to drive Long Beach with the weird mapping that they have of all the objects. It is weird, almost like a quite dystopian. Yeah, there you go. That was good reference.
I call Charlotte Roval weird, but Long Beach in its tech track form is actually weird.
I want to host a Halloween event at night. You're waiting for something to jump out at you. Oh, Stovall is ahead of Kimmon. What's going on there? Kimmon was ever so slow. Oh, well, they are teammates, both pursuit sim racing, so maybe some thinking there.
Going through there to let Stovall by. He was faster early on in this race before he got that drive through. So interesting to see the teamwork at play there.
Further down, Varga up into 18th place now. Is he going to get any further up? He's got 5 seconds now to Michael Whiting with 3 laps to go after this one. These guys won't be laps. So yeah, still 3.5 laps for him to go. Could he catch up to that one? I mean, he might do. On that last lap, Whiting was ever so slow. Whiting did a 24 on that last lap. Geordie Sidney did a 28. What happened with... Oh, Sidney's just coming to the pits. Do we see that? Sidney's just coming to the pits a few laps ago.
Yeah, didn't see that one there. Looked like also Jamie Dyke just getting into the back of Geordie Sini on the exit. A little bit of bump push there. Seeming just able to recover that car as well. Keeps his spot on the top 10. So doing a very good job. I think Varga too, if we continue looking at the pace that Varga's got at the moment, definitely should be able to bring that car back up at least to Whiting, potentially Borg. Actually, Brian Borg's fallen a long way down. Oh, sorry, Jaden Borg quite a way down as well. So we should be able to see those guys maybe mix it up at the front. However, Brian Borg still not let Andrew Dyson go after those two switch spots. About 5 or 6 laps ago now. It's been a very solid battle between these two drivers. First and second well and truly checked out now as we see James Scott start lap 40 of 41. So it's been a very controlled race for the LTC Sports Car.
This is just James Scott in true James Scott fashion, leading the race, fending off his teammate, and he's just doing it with ease, I would imagine. This is going to make it 5 from 5 if he can wrap this one up. And yeah, this really puts the James Scott title difference squarely in the box seat.
Yeah, with his rivals all taking points off one another. McMullen with an awful round today. Might even, I don't know what the penalty is well for McMullen for future rounds, but he might get a good penalty, saying that he can actually serve his drive through in the end, and also got to score 5 from today's event. So not sure what will occur with that one. But basically the gap just opening up further and further. Stokes as well, not having a great day. He is on the back of David Kimman though, trying to recover one more place, was a 10th faster in that last time round. We're just moving on to the final lap of the event. Also, Borg getting closer to Dyson, 3rd and 4th. I don't think there's going to be a move there, although we might have to change cameras because it is only 0.2 of a second. Here we go. 1 lap to go for this final podium place. I'm sure it would mean a lot for both of these guys to get up on the podium. Believe it, it's Dyson. I think Dyson's already got on the podium this season. I think he got a 3rd place with DPR back in Silverstone as well. It would still be very satisfying for him to get a podium in a solo event. Borg with a podium for a little while. So they've just got Tony Gaffer off the circuit. He's now gets him back on. No sign at the moment of Borg getting past. Just drops a couple of car lengths behind to the long right-hander, and so should be no worries anymore. No worries as well for James Scott. Once again, it looked like Okayama didn't take pole position, but he got a solid start up into 2nd place. And once Tom Fear made that mistake in the pit lane, it was all Scott. He doesn't make mistakes, and it's going to be another race victory for him. It's 100%. It's 5 from 5, and it's a win at Charlotte Motor Speedway. James Scott wins again in the AOSC Super Series. It's a 1-2 for Logitech G Altus Esports, just as it was at Alton Park. Meanwhile, Dyson holds on against Borg, who's got to serve that slowdown right at the end of the race, and does finish in 4th place. Just need to make sure they didn't get a post-race penalty, otherwise that would send him way down. Hins with an awesome 5th place. Well done to Racing there, and Briggs could have been more for him after that disappointing qualifying and disappointing start, finishes in 6th. Behind Stokes, did get ahead of Kimmond. So Stokes does get a 10th place out of this one, which I think he'll be quite happy with, considering that he didn't quite have the pace that he would normally like. Dyke versus Borg in the closing stages. Borg with 5-lap pressure tyres, but that's not going to get him the traction on the exit. And a couple of others as well, going for a last lap move, but nothing really sticking. Daniel, while Scott doesn't always have the pace advantage, it's just that experience, it seems, because Okayama, he shouldn't have really won because he wasn't the fastest driver, at least, and he was ill. I mean, that was part of the reason why he wasn't the fastest driver. Today, Tom Freer had the opportunity, but whilst others make mistakes, Scott just doesn't, and he's just maximising these races one after the other. There's never any faults, and he's very difficult to beat when he's driving as perfect as this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a consummate professional. When you see him run these cars around here, I mean, it doesn't really make few and far between making mistakes at all. Really controlled coming back through the field once the safety car pit stops took place on the first safety car there, timed his runs very, very nicely to make those passes. And once he got out in clear air, just seemed to drive away quite effortlessly from the rest of the field. Obviously did take his teammate with him, but still even extended quite a handsome advantage over his teammate in second place.
Yeah, was comfortable for James Scott at the close. You should get your race results up on screen. There you go. Round 5 of season 9. James Scott wins by 6 seconds over Brady Myers. Andrew Dyson in third place. Then it was Brian Borg, Thomas Hinz. Again, great result for Hinz. I think that's the highest result I've seen him score. Adam Briggs was in 6th place, might be up in 2nd place in the championship after that. Briggs, I'm not quite sure. He did miss Monza, I think so. I guess it's dependent on job scores. Latza with a really good 7th, again one of his best results that I've witnessed. Rob Bowden 8th, James Stovall and Carl Stokes landing out the top 10. Then it was David Kimman, Sean Linsell, Paul Warwick, Geordie Sinney. Could have been a lot more for Sinney. Must have just run out of fuel, so he had to come into the pits late on. Should have been a top 7, I think, for Sinney right there. Then it was Jamie Dyke, Jaden Borg, Michael Whiting, Stephen Barger, Tyson McCovoy, Marty Hansen, David Coleman, Adam Hain, Michael Ward, Ben Blaze, Craig Jones, Sean Chappell, Stephen Martin, Tony Gapper, Nathan Clive, Alex Schuler, Simon Bayer, Chris Barnes, Greg Sharp, Corey Shepherd, Scott McCune, Dylan Rudd, Marlon McMullen, who got DQ'd of course, Blake Delaney, Cameron Jones, Harry Dodds, Kai Sloggett, who was up in the top 5 at one point, didn't pit under the first place car. Tom Freer, he was leading in the early stages but got taken out. Michael Schroeder and Grant Keynes were the other drivers. Nick Halser ended up doing 5 laps in the safety car. I'm sure he enjoyed every single one of them. He wouldn't. We're going to have some interviews with the drivers now, and as always, there's only one man that we can speak to first. It's James Scott, who I've had the honour of interviewing pretty much every single race so far this season because he keeps on winning. Congratulations, James. Slightly different to some of your wins because it was unsure whether or not you had the pace tonight. I say only 3rd place in qualifying. How do you think your pace matched up against Shepherd and Freer and your teammate out there?
I think qualifying sort of summed it up. We didn't really put any effort into qualifying all week, pretty much. We didn't even really have a qualifying setup till about 15 minutes before the session started. But I think the race pace and the race setup was quite good. I was able to get into 2nd there quite early on, and was able to chase down Tom Freer when the safety car came out, and was lucky enough to get in front of him, and was able to sort of control the race from there.
When you were behind Freer in the early stages, were you just staying behind, maybe thinking about the strategy game later on, or were you trying to overtake Freer? Were you playing getting it done on the strategy, or were you quite happy getting it done on track instead?
Sort of the way I was playing it was I knew the sort of the critical lap was around lap 13, so I probably would have passed him had I got an opportunity before lap 13. However, obviously the safety car came out on lap 10 or 11 or somewhere around there, and it was going to be a pretty crazy finish at the end there. Had we not had another safety car, it would have been pretty close with all of us. But yeah, that second safety car there gave us all the extra fuel we needed to get home.
So that was right on the limit then, you're saying, for getting to the end on the race. I mean, if it was 2 laps early, do you think you would have come into the pits on that first safety car?
If it was 2 laps earlier, I probably wouldn't have. It was going to be very touch and go from where the safety car fell tonight, that first one. We probably would have made it, but I think any further laps we would have had to do would have been a stretch.
so far, of course, very strong run for you in this championship. I suddenly thought, what is the next round of the championship? Are you aware of what the next round of the championship is going to be?
I haven't looked, but if I remember correctly, I think we have a few weeks off. Now I think we have maybe 3 weeks off. If I could be wrong, don't quote me on this. And then I think we have an enduro, so at Mid Ohio potentially. So that'll be interesting. I haven't done much practice there. I think I've only ever done one race there, and I think it was in a GT car, so that'll certainly be interesting.
Yeah, on the 18th, then, yeah, Mid Ohio for the endurance format. So certainly best of luck for that one. James, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we say goodbye?
Obviously all the guys at Altus Esports, especially Brady. I must admit I got a little bit lost with the setup this week, but he came to the rescue with a very good setup in the race. And obviously all our great sponsors, Logitech G, Astro Gaming, Cube Controls, and Own 3D. And obviously all you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and the AOSC admin and all the race control.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, James, and have a nice few weeks off.
You too, guys.
James Scott there for Logitech G Altus Esports, winning today's event. We will next get up our second place finisher from tonight. He is Brady Myers, and he is standing by with Daniel.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Brady, congratulations, mate. Very strong result for yourself tonight, coming home in second place. The car looked very good on track. How was it from your point of view?
Yeah, car was really good. It was just a matter of avoiding the minefields that was the track. It seemed to have everything going on, but car was good. Just made a few mistakes and couldn't really keep up. Didn't really have anything for James tonight.
Yeah, well, let's go back to when the pit stop came. We saw both yourself and James come through for the stops early on in the field. When we went back underway, I think we had about 7 cars in front of both yourself and him, yet to have made their way through the lane for the stops. Were you a little bit worried about how trying to work your way through that was going to play at all?
A little bit, but I think just in these kinds of races, just a matter of picking your moment and just trying to thread the needle through the traffic, but not trying to be too risky or take too many low percentage moves.
Yeah, definitely. And for a lot of viewers watching this, and maybe some of the old guys, they might not have run around here in the slightly newer configuration. Have you put much time in over the time since Charlotte updated the circuit, or iRacing updated the Charlotte circuit, to get a feel from probably what you may have done in say, the rookie series?
Yeah, James and I have done a bit of setup work this week and logged a few laps. I think I prefer this configuration as opposed to the last one. The last one was a bit of a car killer from a bit of RNG with the curbs, but no, I actually quite like this configuration. It's quite fun to race on. Yeah,
definitely. And then we have another week off next week, and then in 2 weeks' time we're back for the 650 at Mid Ohio. Are we likely to see you on the grid for starters, and if so, how do you think the race is going to come for the V8s and particularly Altus?
I think we're looking good for enduros. I think all guys in Altus have come forward, especially with scops happening and all the enduros and stuff. So a lot of effort has been put in lately, and I think we're looking good. Like a lot of flexibility in strategy, which will help us in the long run for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Well, look, before we let you go and enjoy a great second place and top result for the team, obviously with the 1-2, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out and a thanks to?
Yeah, just a shout out to James for helping with setup work this week, and our partners Logitech G, Astro, Cube Controls, iLiveries, Motorsport Australia, and Own TV, and you guys for the broadcast. Thanks, guys.
No worries. Congratulations again, Brady, and look forward to catching up with you at Mid Ohio.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brady Myers there, your second place finisher for Logitech G Altus Esports. Next up, our third place finisher, Andrew Dyson, and he is standing by with 9.
Andrew Dyson, 5th on the grid, 3rd at the end. On paper, it looks like a pretty simple result, but it was anything but. How was it from the driver's seat?
Yeah, well, obviously you guys saw I had that. Thanks for having me, by the way. Had that really bad start. I thought I almost jumped it because I let my finger off the line locker there, but eventually got going and got stuck in behind Marlon and Brian there, and slowly picked off some spots. Unfortunately, Corey had that moment at the start, so we picked one up there, but it was a good battle all throughout the race, and eventually there at the end with Brian, it was really good. So it was a lot of fun.
We've seen a real resurgence of the DPR team in most of these events so far this season. Is there something that you've found in the car, or is it just the team's becoming one and moving forward?
Probably not so much, finding something in the car. I'd say every team out there is always finding something, and we're always, having to play with setups and things like that. But we're all racing together and having a good time, and I think that's the main thing. We're having a lot of fun, and results come with that.
And just quickly, how intense was that battle with Brian Bull right at the end there? Did he almost have you measure?
Oh, right at the end there, it was a bit how you going, because I slowed up a little at that back bus stop chicane with those lap cars in front, and then he kind of got into the back of me, so we were squiggling a bit. But it would have looked exciting. It was all fair and fun and games, but for the most part, it was managing the gap back to him. Following him for so long during the middle of the race there, I could get a good read on where he was strong and where he was weak. So I was able to play that into my hands when I got in front of him.
It was a fantastic battle from us watching from the other side of the screen. Heading to mid Ohio for the Enduros. Are you guys looking strong there?
We'll see how it goes. We do a good job in the Enduros, myself and Briggs and all the boys at DPR. But a little bit of unluckiness probably in the last series of AOSC. So if we can keep moving forward like we did at the first Enduro at Silverstone, we'd be really happy, of course.
Absolutely. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, of course. Well, firstly to all you guys for hosting us up and broadcasting these races. It's fantastic for all the team sponsors, and a big shout out to the AOSC race control crew. I think it's actually a bit of a new team this year looking after race control, and they've been doing a great job. Bit of a baptism of fire just behind the scenes during the races, but they're doing a great job, and pat on the back to those guys. Obviously, I'd like to thank all the boys at DPR who have been doing a great job behind the scenes and putting in a lot of time and effort together, and as I said earlier, having a lot of fun and just really enjoying racing. Of course, can't go without saying thanks to our sponsors, Ben Max Racing Service. It's Ben Max Mechanical, BetSmart Racing Services, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, and of course Simrigs.com. Fantastic guys to come on board with us for the second half of this year, and great bunch of guys there too. So hit them up on their Facebook page or email, and they'll look after you.
Excellent. Well, thanks for coming on, and well done on your third place tonight, Andrew.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for having me.
Tyson with a brilliant third place tonight. We are also going to just have a quick word with Brian Borg, who we drag up into the commentary box. Brian, well done. It was nearly third place, but fourth place is still a fantastic result tonight.
Yeah, awesome result, awesome race. It was good fun with Andrew. As he said, it was nearly a third place, and it was nearly into the wall as well on the last corner. So it's either have a dive or bin it, and somehow I made it across the line.
I was really nervous for you there on that last corner. You skipped the chicane, and I was basically shouting at the screen, "Slow down," because I didn't want you to get a post-race penalty. I mean, how close were you to getting a post-race penalty?
Yeah, it was 0.1. 0.1. I just made it across the line before it cleared itself.
Good. That was pretty close. How was the how was the strategy out there today? And also, actually, how was the kind of post a second safety car? Because I think you got up into, you were running in 5th earlier on, then you got up into 4th place, got ahead of Marlon. Kind of how did that happen? And then also, what was your view of the mess that happened after the second safety car?
Yeah, after the second safety car, it was well, it was just a bit weird. Like everyone had, I think there was some not lap cars. So obviously, some people didn't pit, and it was just I managed to just get through. Obviously, you got to take a little bit of a chance with this track, and you know, I knew that I had a fresher tyre set than the people who didn't pit, so I just got through at the right time, which gave me a little bit of a gap. I think I was running third after that second pit stop, but I jumped Marlon in the pits with that pit stop. So I think just when I was behind him, I was able to save a little bit more fuel.
Yeah, that certainly does make sense. And next up, we've got the endurance meeting at Mid-Ohio in a few weeks' time. It very nearly was a legendary win for you at Silverstone when you stayed out on circuit for in the closing stage, didn't pit after the last safety car, and you just missed out on the race win. You must be itching to go for this next enduro, because Premier Racing Team have had some good success in them recently.
Yeah, look, I think 1 second. I think that, like, you know, our team is becoming stronger with the people that we've got in the team now, and everyone's just pushing everyone. So I am looking forward to doing the enduro for the track itself. We'll just have to wait until we get there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, best of luck for that one. Brian, is there anyone you'd like to give some thanks to?
Yeah, Racecraft simulations. If you're looking for a new simulator that can, you know, handle all your gear, look them up. They're Australian product and really good people. Also, Opticoat, PPG, and everyone else who just really puts in the effort, especially my team, man. Good bunch of people, and thank you to you guys for your broadcasting and race control. And I know Nick does a lot in the back scenes, so thank you guys.
No problem at all, Brian. Thanks for having a chat with us, and we hope to see you back very soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Brian Borg there, finishing in 4th place for Premier Racing Team. Nori, we've got the endurance meeting coming up next. We've had this kind of run of sprint races at Okayama and Monza, and now, of course, Charlotte Roval. However, next up, Mid-Ohio for an endurance meeting. It's a bit of a strange host, certainly very different to the last enduro we had at Silverstone. What can we expect from that one?
I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say James Scott win. So
Oh wow! Okay, bit out of left field there.
that's what I'm saying. His form's dominant, and going into another enduro, solid team at AOSC Sports, they'll know what they're doing. They'll be quick. They'll put the time in to make the setup work. Yeah, we've got a couple of weeks break, so they might be racing a couple of different series. So they'll be in the cars. They'll be testing, tuning, and making sure they're ready to go. Mid-Ohio, yeah, it's a different circuit, but I thought Charlotte Roval would throw the spanner in the works, and it didn't really change up the order too much. So, yeah, let's hope it changes a bit when we get to Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dan, that's one of my favourite circuits. I always say it's the North American Hungaroring, with a little bit of elevation change, lots of kind of slow speed, left, right, left corners. So yeah, should be a good host. Do you think there's anyone that can kind of fight Logitech G-Altus Esports at that round? Who do you think is in the best position to take them on?
Look, I think based on past performance we've seen so far over the championship, I think we've probably got a few contenders, maybe in the form of Sinja Sim Racing, definitely Premier Racing if we have Borg, and we'll wait to see what the stewards do as far as Marlon McMullen's concerned. But I think if those two are able to pair up again, obviously we saw what they could do at Silverstone. They're going to be in with a really red-hot crack. We've got Sinji, and then also DPR Racing. I mean, we saw them get on the podium today. Team that's on the up and up, and I think they're going to provide a really solid challenge. I think the biggest thing to see for all these guys is just going to be just how they manage the undulation that Mid-Ohio offers up. It's some really, it looks very simple on paper when you look at it. Once you throw the undulation into it, it's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah, we've already had Norrie have the bold bet that it's going to be a James Scott victory. I'm going to put one out there that we probably see 4 safety cars as a result of it.
Ooh. Okay. Well, of course, I think there's going to be at least one random one, isn't there? So we'll see. I'll do some research for the next 3 weeks, because unfortunately that's how far away the next round of the championship is. 3 weeks away. But when it is on, certainly do go to the Esports Network and Apex Racing 2 to catch that round of the championship. Final word for the sponsors for the series: Acuta, providing safety and rigging equipment. If you need safety and rigging equipment, they are the people to go to, whether or not you've got some big construction to sort out, or whether you're just doing some DIY. Acuta is certainly the place to go. Jinx Shifters for making premium shifters, and also brake bias and ARB adjusters for sim racing, so I'm the best in the business there. Race Circuit Arts Australia, making high quality CNC race circuits, which are spectacular to look at. Sixth Gear Imagery, doing sim racing digital imagery. You can check out those images on the AOSC Facebook page after the event. Always fantastic screenshots are those. Wolf Graphics, providing Aussie-made stickers, and also Western Mazda, Too Easy Finance, and Paramatsu Isuzu Utes as well. Sydney car deal. So if you're around in Sydney, certainly go there if you want a new car. Of course, led by Jamie McKnight. Big thanks to him and all of the sponsors for supporting the championship. We'll see you back then for the AOSC Super Series in 3 weeks' time. Of course, there's loads more stuff coming up on the iRacing Esports Network and Apex Racing TV. So go subscribe to both of them. Got the Aussie Mixed and Fixed GT Championship actually coming up on Sunday. Certainly recommend watching that one. That'll be the penultimate round of the season. Really close championship that, with Craig Edwards and Joshua Thomas as well. Also Timothy Phoeben might be having a chance at the title, so do check that out on the Esports Network and on Apex Racing TV in a couple of days' time. But for now, from me, from Daniel, and from Noe, and from Scott as well on the cameras, we're going to say goodbye, and it is 5 out of 5 for Scott going into the mid-season break. We'll see you back in 3 weeks' time at Mid-Ohio.